World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chesko.
It's Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the Edge of Philly Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host today, along with my partner, Jim Chesko. And Chet, the Phillies took 2 out of 3 in Kansas City with hits, and more hits. Followed that up with an opening come-from-behind win Monday night against Houston, and then got a gem from Aaron Nolan last night to win this series. Need a sweep this afternoon. The Eagles' 53-man roster is set with a few surprises for next Friday's opener in Brazil. College football is underway with the first upset of the season in the first game of the season. Penn State, West Virginia this Saturday in Morgantown. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, lots of football talk, Bill. I know you love this time of year with college football starting up and the pros right behind. Hey, real quick for folks watching us live at 1 o'clock in the afternoon here on this Wednesday, thanks for finding us at this unusual, special time. If you guys comment during the show, live, we will see it now and can respond. But if you're watching at the usual 7 p.m. time or later, well, we won't be able to, react, of course. So sorry for this little switcheroo. It's all on me.
It is on you. You got a date tonight or something. You couldn't make it.
Yeah, I'll be at another concert, but that's a whole other story. So we're doing the show early, but you can watch it at 7 o'clock if you want. But thanks for the people who have joined us to watch live.
And we have a couple great guests that are making return visits to Philly Press Box Radio in the afternoon. In retired Eagles beat writer Mark Eckel and the host of the Goon and Ironhead show in State College, Pennsylvania, Goon himself, Keith Conlin, to talk Penn State and the new look Big Ten.
Yeah, going to be fun. And yes, we will squeeze in some Phillies talk. They're back, it seems. Again, hope so. But we're going to kick it off with football, Bill. Let's get it going.
Let's do it. Let's welcome Mark Eckel back to Philly Press Box Radio. Mark, welcome.
Hey, guys. How many times is this now, Chet?
21, I believe. 21, Mark.
That's a lot.
You're still in the top 3 or 4. So
that's amazing since I'm not even there anymore.
It is a rare August visit for you to our show. I think this is your 3rd or 4th August visit, though. The first couple of years we did have you on in August. Usually, though, it's closer to draft time or, some other time. But I hope you're having a great summer. We will talk lots of football with you. Okay. Mark, since last season ended, which ended badly for the Eagles, the team has changed coordinators, lost a couple of veteran leaders on both sides of the ball. They've added lots of new faces, the likes of Saquon Barkley, Jahan Dotson, Devin White, Bryce Huff, among others. Have they done enough to make the Eagles legitimate contenders again?
Well, they're contenders, without a doubt. I mean, I'm looking from the outside in now that I am. To me, the Eagles are the most intriguing team in the NFL. From a talent standpoint, if you're just looking at talent, they might be the most. Well, their offense is probably the most talented in the league. They have 2 outstanding wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They have a good tight end in Dallas Goedert. They added Barkley, who, when he's healthy, is very good. Now that's the key. He hasn't always been healthy in New York. Jalen Hurts, we see what he's done, But like you said, new coordinators on both sides of the ball. The defense, I'm still not 100% sold on all of it, but we'll see. Are they the team that started 10-1 last year, or are they the team that came home 1-6 last year? I mean, it's really intriguing to see. Now, this is their 3rd different offensive coordinator, right? In 3 years. And their 4th different defensive coordinator in 3 years. That's not good. I mean, it's just not. You don't like all that turnover and turmoil. Now listen. When they lost Steichen and Shane Steichen and John Gannon, that was for good reason. They both got head coaching jobs. That's kind of what you want your coordinators. That means you had good coordinators. But last year was a mess. They hired the wrong people, and they fixed it. They hope they fixed it by bringing in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. But we'll see. But they really are intriguing because when I look at the NFC, I think 4 teams stand above the rest. I think the Eagles, the 49ers, the Lions, and the Packers are the 4 best teams. Now, there's always a surprise. Something always happens, But I think those 4. Dallas has talent, but there's too much happening. So there's too much drama going on there. Too much. Dak doesn't know if he's back. McCarthy's in a lame duck year. They did sign CeeDee Lamb, but I just think there's too much going on in Dallas to put them in that top 4. I think you get Eagles. So to answer, I took a long time to answer your question. Yes, the Eagles are definitely Super Bowl contenders.
Well, Mark, you were talking about the offense, and you mentioned Kellen Moore. I think that's an intriguing hire myself. We rooted against him when he was with the Cowboys, just because he was with the Cowboys. But they put up a lot of numbers, and they ran the ball a lot with Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know that they're going to do that with that much work with Saquon Barkley, but they ran a pretty good offense in Dallas. They just didn't get to the big show. What do you think of that hire of Moore?
He's a name, and like you said, he was in Dallas. People want to give him credit for Dak Prescott's development, but Dak had his best year last year when Moore was gone. So I don't know. He's not my favorite guy. We'll see. I mean, they listen. He's probably better than the guy they had last year. Although, from what I read in that ESPN story that came out a week or so ago, it didn't matter who the coordinator was. Sirianni, when Hurts weren't listening to him. That's the issue. I don't care. But Kellen Moore is not a fat. He'll do what he does. I mean, he's not. There's better than Kellen Moore. There's worse than Kellen Moore. He'll be what he is. Hurts and Sirianni's got to get on the same. If that continues, if that story is accurate, and I'm pretty sure it is. Tim McManus is a pretty good reporter. Jeremy Fowler is a real good reporter. They got to get on the same page. They can't not talk to each other. They can't have that. On Hurts' side, there can't be that disrespect that apparently he has towards Sirianni. They got to work that out, or it could be ugly again.
Well, Mark, while we're talking about coordinators, they hired a guy on the other side who's been around even longer than you, Mark, Vic Fangio. What do you like about Fangio or not like about Fangio?
Well, here's what he's going to do that the Eagles needed, and this is why he was probably a good hire in this sense. The Eagles' defense last year lacked a lot of fundamentals from what I saw. I mean, they didn't tackle well. They seemed to be out of position. I mean, that Tampa Bay game was the most embarrassing I've ever seen a professional team play. That was embarrassing. That was for a playoff game. They didn't even want it. They looked like half the defense looked like they wanted to be anywhere but Tampa that night. Yeah. That was awful. Tampa Bay was there. I mean, that's give Tampa some credit. They're not a terrible team, but they're not that good. The way the Eagles played that game. So Fangio will correct a lot of those things that the Eagles lacked last year. And I blame a lot of that on, players take some responsibility, obviously, but I kind of blame their coordinators last year for the way they looked a lot of the last season. Now what Fangio is not what Eagle fans like. This is going to be interesting because, Gannon got ripped for not blitzing, and Gannon got ripped for playing soft. Eagle fans love Buddy Ryan and Jim Johnson, and for rightfully so. But Fangio invented the bend but don't break. He invented the soft zone. He invented sit back and wait for the other team to make a mistake. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But Eagle fans better be ready for him, playing that style, because he and other guys have copied him through the league, but he's the inventor. He's the master of the 3-4 sit back, play it safe, and that's not what Philly fans like.
Hey, Mark, Jason Kelsey's gone. Fletcher Cox is gone off each side of the line. You've been around a long time. You've watched teams evolve. How does the leadership torch get passed? Let's start. Let's say on the offensive side, Lane Johnson might not be that guy. He might be their best player up there, but he may not be that personality to take it over. How does the room evolve with the leadership gone like that?
That's a real good question, Bill, because somebody, listen, it happens. Everybody, whoever was there prior to Kelsey was the leader, and he retired, and Kelsey, it evolves. Somebody takes over. I don't think it's Lane Johnson, just knowing that Lane, he's one of the few guys I still know. It's not his personality to do that, to be that kind of guy. I'm thinking Dickerson could be, right? I mean, I don't know him that well, but he looks like, he came from Alabama, right? He comes from a big time program where, he has Nick Saban coached him. That would be my guess on offense, would be a Dickerson. I mean, you want the quarterback to be the leader, but I don't think that's in Hurts's personality either. To be that guy. A.J. Brown, I don't know. I mean, he's a veteran. He's a great player. I don't know if he's that kind of guy. But somebody has to step up. Somebody has to take – and they're not going to be Kelsey, because not right away, because Kelsey wasn't Kelsey right away. It took him years to become that guy. He was a sixth-round pick out of Cincinnati one day. He didn't come in and say, hey, I'm the leader. Defensively, you still have Brandon Graham, but I don't know how much he's going to play to be what you consider a leader. Looking at it from the outside, the Eagles' defense, bet the over a lot this year, guys.
Hey, Mark, we talked with you right before the draft. Now, I forget who you wanted the Eagles to take. We knew they were going to take a couple of DBs at some point, and they took them very highly, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Do you like these guys?
Yeah, Mitchell, I think I had him second among the corners, if I remember correctly. I like the kid from Alabama better, Arnold, who I think went to Detroit. But Mitchell's good. No, I like Mitchell. DeJean is he a corner? Is he a safety? Is he one or the? I mean, he's versatile, which I guess you like versatility, but I'd rather a guy just be. I'm not sure who else was still available when they took him, but I like Mitchell better and obviously one went first round, one went second round. DeJean's not a bad pick. Mitchell's a good pick. I like Mitchell. I liked Arnold a little bit better. Mainly, again, and I'm very biased in this regard, and people tell me that all the time, but I'm never going to change. I'll take the kid from Alabama that played in the SEC every week over the kid that played at Toledo and played a bunch of schools I never heard of every week. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I'm prejudiced that way. I am. I admit it. I'll take the SEC kid every time.
Hey, Mark, for those that don't know, you still do some writing for the Packers on the side. Eagles Packers next Friday night in Brazil. What do you think of that? And what do you think of the fact from the Eagles standpoint that they're giving up a home game?
I'm glad the Eagles are. I mean, yeah, I mean,
and the Packers don't have to come to Philly.
Yeah. I mean, and I deal with Packer fans now, and the Packers didn't listen. No, I don't think any team wants to play in these games. It's just it messes everything. I mean, it messes up. At least it's the first game, so it's not messing you up in the middle of the season. So if you're going to play one of these international games, I guess it's better to do it now, get it out of the way, and then you get a nice little break before the second game. So you get a couple extra days off. But yeah, the Packer people are kind of happy that they're getting one of their tougher games at a neutral site. I mean, the Eagles, they're going to call the Eagles the home team, but they're not home. And from what I'm told, there's a lot of Packer fans in Brazil. So I don't think that's going to matter. It's certainly a neutral site game. There's no home field advantage in this game. So you took away, from a Packer standpoint, you took away probably their toughest road trip of the season and put it in a neutral site. So for them, it's pretty good. From the Eagles standpoint, you took away a home game against one of the tougher opponents that they're going to face. I was surprised. I'll be honest. They announced right away that the Eagles were going to play in this game. And then they said with the possibility. Now you figured it wasn't going to be Cowboys, Washington, or the Giants, right? It wasn't going to be a division game. I thought it would be like an AFC game.
Yeah, the Browns.
Yeah, something like that. I thought it would be a non-conference, but it's certainly an attractive game. I mean, like I said, I think they're two of the four top teams in the NFC. Certainly two of the top 8, 9, whatever teams in the league. This might not be the only time these two teams play each other this year.
Yeah, and as to your point, I heard Peter Pukowski of Locked On Packers say there may be 60% Packers fans down in Brazil, which does not bode well for the Eagles. But oh well.
Well,
Hey,
that doesn't matter. I mean, they'll be cheering for everything. They don't know what they're watching.
Right.
It's a soccer game.
Mark, tell our viewers a little more about the Packers. There's a lot of excitement about the quarterback, of course, Jordan Love. There's a wide receiver in Christian Watson, who could be pretty good if he can stay healthy. And there's a new running back acquired from the Raiders. Tell us about the guys to watch when Green Bay has the ball on offense.
Well, yeah, Love showed last year that that they once again found a really good quarterback. His second half of the year, he was as good as any quarterback in the league. And it's funny, people say he had a bad first half. He really didn't. He had like 2 bad games. His problem in the first half, his receivers had a bad first half. They dropped a lot of balls. They were running the wrong routes. So many times you had 2 guys in the same spot, and that's not supposed to happen. But as the receivers got better, then you really saw Love take off. And you mentioned Watson. I think they have guys better than Christian Watson. I like Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed. I think those 3 guys. And I'll put Watson there. Watson is just big and fast. I mean, he's hard to. You have to respect his speed, and he has pretty good size. But like you said, he's always got something wrong with him, hamstring, ankle, whatever. If he'll be healthy this week, you would think. So yeah, they'll come at you with a lot of different, and their 2 tight ends aren't bad either, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. So they have a lot of weapons, and then they added Jacobs, kind of like the Eagles added Barkley. Big time. 2 years ago, he led the league in rushing with the Raiders. Last year, he missed a couple games with some minor injuries. The Raiders were a mess last year. He didn't put up as many yards. And again, you can look at him, compare him to Barkley, coming off a team that wasn't very good, a team that was losing most of the time, so they got away from the run. But no, that Jacobs is. If you're a fantasy, I don't play fantasy, but I think Jacobs would be a good pick if you're a fantasy guy, because he's going to get the ball. He's going to be the guy. The Packers aren't going to do like a lot of teams now with 2-3 guys sharing the carries. Jacobs is going to be the guy.
That whole division is kind of interesting to me. The Lions are going to be good. Yeah. The Bears are going to be better, I think, with what they've done. The Vikings probably were going to be okay till their quarterback situation fell apart. I think that's going to be a fun division to watch.
Oh yeah, like I said, I think the Lions and Packers are 2 of the best teams in the NFC. So, and like you said, the Bears. A lot of people are picking the Bears to be better than I am. They'll be better. I mean, yes, they did some good things. I got one for you. Caleb Williams is why people are excited about the Bears. But there's only one number 1 overall pick quarterback that was number 1 overall that's ever taken his team to the playoffs as a rookie.
And who would that be?
Andrew Luck. He's the only one to ever do it. So if the Bears make the playoffs, then Williams is putting himself in the history books, next to Andrew Luck. So it's tough. Rookie quarterback, it's tough. It's just not. I think Williams, and I think Caleb Williams is very talented, but he's a rookie. Everybody, C.J. Stroud broke the mold last year. Everybody thinks that, no, look what Stroud did. That doesn't. There's more Bryce Youngs than C.J. Strouds in the league.
Yeah, they don't have enough overall talent.
Prediction time. Who wins the game September 6th in Brazil, and what are the final regular season records for both the Eagles and Packers?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know. You're asking me that too soon. I got 9 days to pick that game. I'm not giving that pick yet. It'll be a good high. All right, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not going to tell you who's going to win, but take the over. I don't even know what the number is, but take the over, because both teams. Okay. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. I think both teams' offenses are better than both teams' defenses. And like I said, the Packers have a new defense as well. It's funny. They're switch. The Eagles and Packers are kind of like switching defenses. The Eagles went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. I said they went with the Vic Fangio, sit back kind of zone stuff. The Packers are doing the opposite. They had Joe Barry as their coordinator, who was kind of a Fangio disciple, maybe so to speak, where he played a 3-4. He sat back in zones. They just hired Jeff Hafley, who is going to be more they're playing a 4-3 now, and they're going to be more attack, more Jim Johnson's type. Eagle fans are going to like the Packers defense better than their own defense. They're going to play that old style that Eagle fans have grown to love. So, but
Hey, Mark.
Overall records, I didn't look that close. I think 12. I think they're going to be about the same. I think I would see both of them around 12-5, maybe.
Okay.
How do you see the NFC East playing out?
Eagles
You think anybody's even close at this point? I don't think so.
Well, talent-wise, Dallas is, but they're just such a mess. I mean, and I know Dallas has lived off that drama for years, but enough's enough. I mean, you can't have everybody upset. You can't have everything going wrong. I'll tell you a team, and I don't think they're a playoff team, but they're not going to be bad. I think Washington did a lot. I love Jaden Daniels. I know I just said rookie quarterbacks take time, and he will. He'll make rookie mistakes, but I love him. They're heading in the right. I like Dan Quinn. I think Washington did a lot of things to get better. They're not going to be a pushover this year, and I think they're a year away from being like pretty like playoffs where you can talk playoffs about Washington. I like this draft. I think they got some besides Daniels. I think they got some other good players in this draft. Austin Eckler is a good running back. Washington's going to be better than people think. The Giants, no, I don't know how the Giants are going to score.
Right.
Mark, we got a minute left. Let's squeeze in one quick game of 3 and out. I know you like these things.
Right.
So you mentioned some of the rookie quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. There's others. Which rookie quarterback this year will end up having the best career?
Jaden Daniels.
Okay. Yeah, you said you like him. Number 2, we got the huge news yesterday that Oasis will reunite for a UK tour next year. How many Oasis songs can you name?
None.
Either. Supersonic, Wonderwall. Come on, Mark. Shame on you.
I don't know.
Okay. Number 3.
I'm a country guy now.
The Kelsey brothers just got a $100 million deal from Amazon and Wondery for their New Heights podcast. The question is, if I get to date Taylor Swift next, can Bill and I get a deal like that for Philly Pressbox Radio?
I think $50 million is your max.
I'm in. I'm in.
I think
I'll take it. That's all. That's all.
Right.
Oh, good deal. Well, Mark, as always, thanks for taking the time to join us. It always flies by and is always good stuff.
All right, guys. Anytime.
All right.
Have a good season. Take care.
Thanks, Mark. Enjoy the season.
Go Birds.
See ya.
Hey, Chad, let's give a shout out to all the shows at the Edge of Philly Sports Network this week. As always, the gang has all the bases covered. You can catch all the action on www.eopsports.com as well as Edge of Philly Sports on YouTube. You can also find our show on the Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel. Please help us out by hitting those subscribe, follow, like buttons, and as always, share with your family and friends. As you can see, every day of the week, there's something going on. Trending in the AM kicks us off 8 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday. Phil's doing a great job with that. Cool stuff. Being there by himself for an hour plus every day, knocking it out. Don't forget, subscribe to the Edge of Philly Sports Weekly newsletter. Sign up for free. You'll receive the EOP Weekly Review in your email every Friday morning. Check it out. Hey,
Bill, before you ask me about the Irish Rover, we are now just 9 days from the start of the Eagles' regular season, September 6th. And I looked it up. A lot of quarterbacks have worn number 9 for the Birds over the years. The partial list, including Sonny Jurgensen, Joe Pisarcik, Jim McMahon, Rodney Peete, Jeff Garcia, and, Vince Young. But I feel like I'm leaving out one other guy.
There's
Any
one
idea who that might be?
One pretty important guy that you didn't hit on. He has a statue, actually.
I think I know who you're talking about. Nick Foles is officially retired now, and he will always be the number 9 for the Eagles. I don't think they're going to officially retire the number, but I don't think you're going to see any Eagle wearing number 9 anytime soon.
Hey, he's got a statue.
He's got a statue.
Philly.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
You bet. Hey, speaking of that, what's going on over at that Irish Rover Station House? We are in the dog days of summer, headed for fall.
Yeah, Bill, you know this. The Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA has happy hour specials, frequent dinner specials, and always 24 beers on tap. And what they also have are killer burgers on Thursday, Killer Burger Thursday. And right now they're doing their staff wars. They do it every time this year, August, September. A couple of burgers going head-to-head every Thursday. This week it's Carolyn's Flash Burger and Robbie's Pepper Burger. Decide which you want, and you can help vote on that just by purchasing a burger. Oh, by the way, the Irish Rover will be closed this coming Sunday through Tuesday for the Labor Day holiday. Give their great staff a few days off, which is nice. Another big event is on the calendar for next month. In fact, a couple of big events. Get to the Rover to watch that Eagles season opener September 6th against the Packers in Brazil. Drink specials and more. Wear your green, your Eagles green, not your Packers green. And mark your calendar also for Saturday, the 21st of September, when it is the annual Oktoberfest at the Rover. Always a great time, I can attest. The Irish Rover Station House is on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Check the website for all the details, the website being irishroverstationhouse.com. And Ray Dinger, where are you? I need you.
Hi, this is Ray Dinger, and it is always fun to talk sports with these two guys, Bill and Chad, on Philly Pressbox Radio.
Hey, Chet, the Phils brought their bats to Kansas City for games 2 and 3. It was a slugfest to win that series. They followed that up with a nice win against the Astros on Monday night and got a gem from Aaron Nolan last night to go to 2-0 in the series. They won the series. Taijuan Walker goes this afternoon. I'm sure that makes you happy. The lead is 6. The NL East Atlanta Braves are coming to town for 4 starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we thought a couple of weeks ago they might be back when they won 4 in a row, only to go into another brief little funk. But all in all, they're doing okay. They still have a decent lead in the National League East. They look good beating the Astros, the team that beat the Phillies in the World Series 2 years ago. Great performance by Nola Tuesday night. As you mentioned, Taijuan Walker on the hill today. Nobody likes that. You just hope you get 5 innings out of him, maybe give up 4 runs or fewer, and that the Phillies bats, are still looking good like they were last night. Nick Castellanos hitting well. So, even if they lose this one, I think the Brave series is one to watch. 4-game series, as you mentioned, split those 4, and, you're another 4 days closer to ending the season with the division title.
Yeah, well, they got a split. What did we say last week? Or I said they go 7-6 in this 13-game run. That would be pretty good, but they couldn't be losses to the Braves. So they're kind of on pace for that. The whole Taijuan Walker thing is kind of interesting. 2 more years left on his deal at $18 million a year. They got to get something out of him. I'm wondering if he's throwing because, Rob Thompson did the coach speak thing. But I'm wondering if they're, hang on. That was a message from Goon. He's going to try on his phone. He's having a little problem. So he's coming with us. But yeah, they got to get something out of him. They can't go into the 5th game of the week thinking, we can't win that game. Especially with Ranger back. They'll have him. They'll have Christopher Sanchez, and then Wheeler and Nola for the Braves. And that's as good as it's going to get for the Phils.
Yeah, it was great getting Ranger Suarez back into the rotation over the past weekend. Gave them a solid outing, on a limited pitch count. But he's going to make a huge difference if he is the Ranger Suarez that we got to know and love over the last couple of years. Sanchez, I like a lot. Wheeler and Nola look terrific the last couple of nights. So I'm feeling a lot better, Bill, about the Phillies right now than I was a week ago.
Yeah, well, PJ says Walker stinks. It's time to eat the contract. It's $36 million and no one to replace him. Who are you going to replace him with if you decide he can't be your guy? I think if he couldn't be the guy, they'd already made that move. I don't think they got a guy to go in that slot right now.
Yeah, not this year, certainly. You have your Tyler Phillips and your Kyle Allards and those guys that you throw in, but they're, to be honest, mediocre, subpar major league pitchers. And I don't know whatever happened to Spencer Turnbull. Have they shut him down for the year? I've heard nothing on Spencer Turnbull of late.
Well, I saw, it's been a couple of weeks ago that I think that he was rehabbing, but then he never came around, you know.
Yep.
And what happened to the kids from last year? Are they all out for the whole entire season? All that Tommy John stuff? They've got disappeared.
I guess so, because we would have heard something by now about the guy you're talking about. So I think this is what you got. And of course, once you get to the postseason, you're only going to need 4 starters anyway. You won't need that 5th guy. But, hopefully the other 4 do stay healthy. But I like where the Phillies stand right now. And, we get through this Braves weekend with at least a split. And I think everybody can relax.
Yeah, well, I don't know that you're going to relax, and I've been saying this all season long when they jumped out to this big lead. I want to see meaningful games in September, and I think we're going to. I think it's going to be. I like going into it with a 6-game cushion. That would be good, 5 or 6 or 7 game cushion. But I want to see them having to compete all the way down the stretch, and they need to get hot. And Kyle Schwarber is struggling again. Bryce Harper is on a little power outage, although he's starting to hit. Stott's starting to hit. Marcia's starting to hit a little bit. God, he strikes out a lot. So hopefully they're getting this thing turned back around as we head to September.
I know you weren't happy when Topper sat Alec Boehm last week, and lo and behold, Boehm has not had a good week. He got that bloop double last night, but Boehm has been struggling quite a bit otherwise and showing a lot of frustration, throwing the helmet, putting his head down. You don't like to see that attitude. He's hitting into some tough luck, but he's also striking out, swinging at some bad pitches, and he's a little frustrated right now.
Yeah, and that really kind of catches me off guard. I'm really surprised at that, and it has nothing to do with the day off. But he went 0 for the one game. He sits the next game, and he's been not very good and very frustrated since. I don't know if there's a little more to that story or what. Speaking of stories, what about our boy Jose Alvarado?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some personal issues that were affecting him pitching. Who knows what that's all about. Surely, pitching aside, you don't want to see ill will on any player, and we hope that whatever his situation is, it's all okay.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a tough go of it, and we don't know why he's, taking some time off and is on the restricted list. But, hopefully it is nothing too serious and that he's okay. The bullpens have been looking a lot better all of a sudden, which is great. Jeff Hoffman is reliable once again. Estevez has looked better as the closer of late. So, hopefully the bullpen has gotten that rough patch out of their system and they'll be fine going down the stretch.
Well, and I think that was one of the things that was really important about Nola last night, pitching so well, and the fact that they got 7 innings out of him because they had used Kirkring, Hoffman, Estevez, and Strom the night before to win that game. They weren't going to be some of them weren't going to be available last night. But now they are available to go today or tomorrow and get back on track. So,
and with Taijuan Walker starting today's 4:00 game, good possibility that a lot of those bullpen guys will be needed.
Right, and you might need that long guy in there too, somebody that can come in and eat up some innings and keep the game close.
Hey, any new messages from our man Goon, Keith Conlin?
Not yet. Let me see if I can text him. How's that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Because as everybody knows, Penn State is starting things up this weekend. They are in West Virginia for the season opener. Penn State ranked number 8 overall. So, we're looking for another good year for the guys out in Happy Valley. And we're hoping to get Goon, Keith Conlin, from that 1994 unbeaten team to join us, if humanly possible, because we love talking college football with former players like the Goon. So we'll see if we can get him.
Are you able to send that link to him again, possibly? He says he's using his phone, but it won't allow him in.
I'll try. So you talk for just a second, Bill.
It won't cause it's not a laptop. I'm on my phone, he says.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves, Bill.
Oh, well, we can talk about college football because I like college football, and that's what we're going to talk to Goon about. The season started with Georgia Tech, Florida State in Ireland. Georgia Tech, not very good. Florida State, top ranked in the top 8, expected to roll through the ACC, expected to be really good. What happens? Georgia Tech beats them on a walk-off, although Georgia Tech was leading the whole game and outplayed Florida State from the start. They kick a walk-off field goal to win that game, 24-21. So college football season is kicked off. Week 0, they call it, with just 4 games last week. And an upset in the first game of the season, and that is what it's all about.
Yeah, tell Keith I just emailed the link again. That's all I can do on this end. I wasn't able to send it via text message, but I did so via his email, which he should be able to check on the phone. So, hopefully he can connect because we'd love to talk to him.
All right.
You mentioned the rankings, Bill, on the upset of Florida State. Let me see if I have the rankings. I do. Yeah, Georgia ranked number 1, no surprise. Ohio State looking for another great year. They're second in the early rankings. Penn State number 8, which may be a little high. Be curious to see what Goon thinks about that. Penn State does not play Michigan this year. Michigan ranked number 9, thanks to the expansion in the Big Ten. No Michigan this year. Penn State will instead play Washington and UCLA out at Beaver Stadium.
And USC on the road.
Trip out to USC.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Big Ten is going to be, or Big 17 or 18 or whatever it is now, going to be really interesting how this all plays out. Big teams coming to Happy Valley, but cross-country travel for the Nittany Lions as well. So it's going to be, also the playoffs are expanded to 12 teams this year, which if it were last year, everybody with 0, 1, or 2 losses would have all made the 12.
Mm-hmm.
The 13th team had 3 losses. So all 2-loss teams would have made the playoffs. So Florida State, having lost already, if they go about their business, maybe trip up one more time, they could still be in the playoffs, even with an opening game upset loss to Georgia Tech. So, going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Of course, opening the season in Morgantown this Saturday is no easy task either.
Bill, you watch the games more closely than I do. Penn State quarterback Drew Allar, he was inconsistent in the games I saw last year. What is your take on him? How much do you like him?
Well, he's got to be a lot better.
Yeah.
And now they have a new offensive coordinator that will just throw the ball all over the place and throw it to anybody. It doesn't matter. Hopefully that's a good sign that Drew Allar is what they thought he was going to be. He played pretty well most of the season until the big games, and they shut him down, and he threw 8 passes and 10, 12 passes. Nobody was going to be good there. The wide receiver group is something that I think is probably the most intriguing part of that team. They weren't very good last year. They couldn't create much separation, which created a lot of problems for Allar. It also created a lot of problems for the really good running game because nobody respected the pass. So the offensive line is supposed to be better. Supposed to be really good. They were supposed to be good last year, and I was never impressed with them, but they're supposed to be really good again. And the defense is supposed to be Penn State good. I like really good.
Do they have a new defensive coordinator too?
Yep. The former coach at Indiana, Tom Brown, is the new defense coordinator. He's good. So, we'll see how that goes. Hey, I didn't see it yet. I think it premiered last night on Netflix. Is this Connor Stallion, Michigan, Spygate, whatever the heck you want to call it, documentary. And I just had a text from my son, Billy, this morning and said, you got to watch the Michigan thing. So I think it just came out last night. I got to check it out. But there's a rumor out there that the big hammer is getting ready to fall on Michigan for the last 3 years. That will be interesting to see if that happens.
Yeah, from what you sent me yesterday, that is a hammer indeed. Of course, Jim Harbaugh is gone now, so it won't really impact him, but it will impact the Michigan program.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the whole thing is Harbaugh skated out to the NFL, got his bag of money, and Goon says same thing, won't work.
Well,
so
it's just you and me then, Bill. We do have to talk about this guy. A lot of people don't love him. He's been there for 10 years, but despite that 675 winning percentage, he has not done all that well in the big games, Ohio State, Michigan, and, must-win games. He's far in the negative as far as those games. So what can we do about James Franklin?
Well, I don't think you're going to do anything, Chet, because he goes 10-2 every year. And 10-2 bowl games are, unless you, now with the playoff, it'll be a different setup probably. But the bowl games, they got beat in the bowl game. That's kind of irrelevant. Players don't play. There's all that other stuff going on. So I think a lot of people have become accustomed to 10-2, and I'm not. Though both of those games they lost last year to Ohio State and Michigan, they had chances to win those games.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And that's the frustrating part to me. Now you add USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington.
There's the schedule.
I mean, you look at some of those games, Oregon is picked by a lot of people to be the national champion. Ohio State is going to be tough. I'll be at that game, by the way. USC and UCLA, Wisconsin's always a tough game. So, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to go 10-2 with that schedule.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I have a Nittany Lion right here with me.
There you go.
And you used to be able to press his hand and he would sing the Penn State fight song, but I put new batteries in and he's still silent. And he whispered to me that he's holding out for some NIL money.
Well, NIL is a thing, and we could talk for a whole show on NIL and how that's playing out. This isn't college football that we grew up with. It's not college football 5 years ago, and I had a conversation with a friend who is an old college football coach. I will keep his name to myself. A big time college coach, and he's retired, and he said they have ruined a great game. So
yeah, I know you're not happy with a lot of it. And I'm sure, a lot of folks feel that way. It's certainly different from what we grew up with, Bill.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was definitely room to pay some stuff, to get these guys, all sports, not just football, all sports. But now it's the Wild Wild West. There's no rules. There's no nothing. You look at the quarterback situation in college football right now, and we talked about this on the college show that I do, another college show. There are about 10 quarterbacks who all transferred to different schools. And the reason they transferred to schools is because there were 5 or 6 that came out who were better than them, but they all got paid to transfer. So there, if you go to the league and you get cut, you don't have a job. Mm-hmm. So you stay in school and transfer somewhere else and get a bag of money. It's money. It's free money, right? I mean, you're not making it once you leave college. So whatever they get them, that's all good. And the other thing that's really disturbs me more than anything is in all this talk, there is no such thing spoken about a student athlete. These are athletes. The student part is being thrown by the wayside. These guys are being hired as employees to come in here and play sports for them, and that's not what college sports is all about.
Again, folks, sorry we weren't able to get a hold of Keith Conlin. He was trying to join us, but had technical difficulties. We wanted to ask him also, in addition to just Penn State in general, about a couple of ex-Penn Staters, Saquon Barkley and Jahan Dotson, now being Eagles. Bill, we didn't get to talk about Dotson yet. That happened Thursday, I guess, of last week.
Yeah.
some people love it, some people don't. One of the guys who didn't love the acquisition is former Washington Commander and Eagle Brian Mitchell, who is down in DC now, and he said Dotson's work ethic is not great. So that's something to keep an eye on. Have you heard anything about Dotson, not working as hard as he should?
No, I haven't heard that, but I mean, it makes sense because Washington gave up on a 24-year-old first round.
After 2 years.
I believe he was first-round receiver. They gave up on him with this new coaching regime of Dan Quinn. Something wasn't exactly right. But, you put him in the same room with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, who are known work dogs. Let's see what happens. I like it. I think he's a great opportunity for a slot guy. Yeah. I mean, I like it. And they didn't give up much to get him. So, yeah, I'm happy with it.
Hey, since we're sort of transitioning to more Eagles talk right now, I'll change the background. And the 53-man roster is out for now. There could be some last-minute tweaks. We'll see if James Bradbury does indeed stick around. Anything surprise you, Bill? I know you said you thought they would keep more than 3 running backs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a position of attrition, right? I mean, keeping guys healthy for 18 weeks and the playoffs, and you only have 3 of them. They're all going to have to be active every week. Heck, it wasn't just a couple of years ago. They were rotating 3 guys in all the time. Now there's only 3 on the roster. That surprises me a little bit. The fact that they have 12 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them will dress, but you got 6 defensive tackles and 6 edge rushers. How much rotating are you going to do up front there? So that surprised me a little bit. They have a lot of corners. Tristan McCollum was an interesting guy that made the squad. They said he's a special teams guy, but his work ethic and the things that he did in the preseason earned that job. Bradbury, of course, you mentioned. So yeah, I think it's interesting. The other thing too, the 2 tight ends. Again, they at least they used to. Now maybe they won't do it with Kellen Moore. They used to run a ton of 2 tight end sets. Well, if you only have 2, they're going to be playing a lot. And if somebody goes down, you don't even have another guy on a roster.
Yeah, going to be curious to see what happens between now and next Friday. I guarantee you there'll be a few tweaks, and really curious to see if Bradbury is indeed on the roster and will be on the field next Friday. I don't think he's going to be.
Well, Howie talked about him yesterday. I guess it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And said that his adjustment to safety has been really good. Again, were we hearing coach speak or what? Are they looking to make a deal? That's possible. Or maybe they're protecting him from somebody else picking him up. There could be all kinds of things going on there. But, Bradbury, I thought was interesting anyway, because he is not as bad as he was last year. He's never been that bad.
Can't be. No.
Right. I mean, he's never been that bad. He's had a pretty decent career, but he sure was not good last year.
Yeah, and he was a Pro Bowl guy the year before, so he wasn't hurt. I don't know what the hell happened last year, but he looked like he lost a few steps. So I don't know. I can't imagine he's going to pick up any more speed between last year and this year. So I'm really surprised that he's still around.
Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again as we kick off the season for the Eagles. And I'm not one to give passes to much of anybody. I'm giving the defense a little bit of a pass from last year. They're not that bad. They were so poorly coached. And I think you probably remember this when I talked about having an opportunity. I forget even what game it was, that I was able to watch the coach's film and where I could actually see things differently and could sit there and go back and forth and all that. And guys were just not, back to the old saying, guys were not put in positions to make plays. Yeah. And so I'm expecting that to change. I think they'll be better coached. I think they'll be better overall. They've got some talent, and we'll see how Vic Fangio puts it together.
9 days away. I can't wait. Bill, I'm ready to tailgate right now.
Well, let's do it. Tell us what's going on with our pal Bob Kavanaugh at Cavs Philly
Bob
Tailgate.
Kavanaugh and Philly Tailgates. Well, they've been cooking up a terrific catering business for more than 30 years. Known best for their tailgate parties, Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events and parties, you name it, and they will be doing all of the Eagles home games. Look at this schedule. Falcons, Browns, Jags, Commanders. Those are the first 4 in Philadelphia. In addition, Cavs crew will be in Brazil. We'll have more about that in just a second. Get all the details, though, at phillytailgates.com for pricing and more info about upcoming events. And if you have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. And you know that Cav works with Vince at Philly Sports Trips. They're the people to use for all Eagles road games and more, plus that trip to Brazil, of course. Check out the schedule. It all begins with that trip to Sao Paulo for the Eagles-Packers season opener, and there are shorter trips to all road games, and Vince and Cav are already finalizing plans for next spring's Phillies spring training trips to Clearwater. Jason Worth will be on hand for one of those trips, March 16th to the 25th. I'm hoping to be down there. Maybe I'll get to say hello to Jason. Check out all the trips and all the details, all the info at phillysportstrips.com.
Hey, Chet, you just made my day.
Yeah?
The Falcons, that is September 16th. That's Monday Night Football. Do you have that right in front of you?
I don't know. Let's see. I have the Eagles schedule here somewhere. Is it on here?
No, it was on.
Oh, it's the Eagles home game, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Eagles home. It's a Monday night game.
Monday night. Well, because I am supposed to actually be, that's my birthday, by the way. I am supposed to be in Green Bay on Sunday for the Colts Packers at Lambeau, which, with this being a Monday night game, I don't miss an Eagles game. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that is a Monday night game. So there you go. You won't miss anything.
Very good. Well, hey, great guest today in Mark Eckel. Would have been Keith Conlin. Who's coming to Philly Press Box Radio next week?
Let's see if I can find the pictures that I will be needing. We have so many things in our queue of pictures here, Bill. It's tough to find everything. But next week, we will be back at our regularly scheduled 7 p.m. Eastern time slot. And we're going to talk lots of football once again ahead of that Eagles-Packers season opener. And check out these guests. We have the great Bill Bradley joining us. For you youngsters, Bill Bradley is a legendary Eagles safety. He's been on our show, I think, 5 times. Terrific dude. Plus, with Bill will be a guy who just wrote a terrific book about Super Bill, Joe Zagorski. So, that's going to be fun. In addition to that, we do this every year, a couple of days before the season opener. Merrill Reese visits the program. He's not only the Eagles radio voice, he is now a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Yeah, the great Merrill Reese. And in addition to that, we're going to see if we can squeeze in Bob Vitrone, a.k.a. Boop, because we have to make our official predictions for the season, Bill, and some week 1 key games. And we're going to do that margin of victory pool again this year. You guys are going to try to knock me out of the top spot.
So Boop is going to be back with us for that this year. That's confirmed?
I think so. I texted him about 2 weeks ago, and I think he said, sure. So,
There you go. There you go. Good deal. Looking forward to that. What, you want to go back and talk about some more Phillies? You have anything else you want to say about that?
I got a couple other things I want to squeeze in.
All right.
Bill, I don't know if you saw this the other day, and I'm guessing that as a big-time collectibles guy, you did. The jersey that Babe Ruth wore when he hit his famous called shot homer just sold at auction this past weekend for $24.1 million. Heritage Auctions, which conducted the sale, says that figure nearly doubled fellow New York Yankees legend Mickey Mantle for the highest priced collectible in sports, a title Mantle's 1952 Topps rookie card earned when it was sold in August of 2022 for a mere $12.6 million. The jersey that you're seeing on the screen was worn by the Babe in Game 3 of the 1932 World Series, in which Ruth hit his called shot home run, and that happened to be the last homer that he would hit in the Fall Classic. $24 million, Bill. Was that you? Did you buy it?
No, but didn't they? They said who did buy it, right? It was.
I don't know. I didn't read beyond the first couple of paragraphs.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was in the original article that came out about the sale, but I think there was a follow-up that, I can't think of who it is. It's like one of those Ben Affleck kind of guys. It's like
somebody famous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's don't hold me to the Ben Affleck, but it's a more of a younger kind of actor type guy like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Bill, I alluded to this earlier. Our friends, the Kelsey brothers, are getting more money. $100 million deal with Amazon and Wondery for their New Heights podcast. That's not bad. That's a pretty good deal, Bill, for a once-a-week podcast.
We couldn't stand the pay cut if we got that deal, but good for them.
As Mark said, we'd settle for $50 million. You said $50 million.
Yeah. I'm all in at 50. But I tell you what, the Kelseys are killing it. Obviously,
yeah.
If I'm Travis Kelce, why am I going to training camp? Right, I've got a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah,
I've got 3 Super Bowls,
and he's got Taylor Swift,
and he's got a jet set that he could go all over the world whenever he wants. Probably more. Well, I don't know if he's got more money than he could spend because she's got 50 times more money than he's got. But why in the world do you put yourself through another training camp? I just don't understand that part.
He must really enjoy playing still, and good for him, because he's still obviously very talented. But why risk injury and getting your body banged up every week for 5 months or whatever when you can just sit back and do a podcast?
Right. And granted, he's on top of the game. He's still the best tight end in the game. So there's that. But man, getting out of bed, and I mean, for him, he's going to play football for peanuts compared to what he can make for sitting talking on an hour with his brother.
Bill, I'm not going to make an official prediction, but you can because you follow the game more closely. Penn State this season, what's their record? 12 games before playoff.
I think 9-3. 9-3.
Ooh, that would not be worthy of a number 8 team in the country.
No, Ohio State is still Ohio State. They've got until they beat them. They don't play Oregon. That's good. They don't play Michigan. That's good. But they do go to Wisconsin. They do go to USC. They theoretically should be able to beat those teams. They got to play Washington. Ohio State and Washington back to back. I mean, I think 9-3 is about the best, and they're going to be on the doorstep whether they get in the final 12 or not.
Okay.
And I hope I'm wrong, but
I hope they do better.
Just saying you're going to beat Ohio State when you haven't competed with them very well for a long time. It's cheap talk.
Bill, wrap it up.
Let's do it. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Mark Eckel, our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, and PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, September 4th, back at our regular 7 p.m. time. You can see us live on Facebook or on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel. Listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Let's go, Phillies. Let's go, Penn State.
High hopes.